Welcome back to another ECE 120 Contemporary Issues tutorial video. In this video, we will do an overview of your observation and reflection assessment. Notice the breadcrumbs at the top, beginning with table of contents, into that last module, assessments, clicking into summative observations, and then you will find observation and reflection number 1, standards 1 through 4, as well as observation and reflection number 2, standards 5 through 10. So please understand that this is a two-part assessment. It will be submitted on 2 different dates. This allows you to complete the minority of the standards and observation reflections. Your instructor will provide you feedback, and then you will progress and move on to concluding standards 5 through 6 at the second due date. It is helpful for you to complete 1 or 2 of these standards per week as you progress towards the first due date. So please refer to your course schedule and the assessment due date specific to, in this case, observation and reflection number 1. Let's review the instructions together. For this assessment, students will complete video observations and reflections utilizing different resources to identify examples of the NAYC program standards. Students will view videos and complete a reflective summary chart. That chart will be provided to you. Assessment requirements include the following. For your assignment, you will be noting different ways that the teachers address the NAYC standard outlined in your textbook as well as the NAYC website. You're going to use the NAYC standards observation and reflection chart provided in this module to document examples of each standard as you review them. Each standard includes 2 different videos focusing on the the NAYC standards. So for standard 1, you will review 2 videos, and we're going to go through an example in just a moment. Individual standards will focus on different age groups. You should include a minimum of 2 to 3 sentence response for each specific example, and each example requires dual responses, meaning that you will focus on children and teachers, children and families. Other evaluations will be of the administration and the environment. So again, we'll take time to review the observation reflection assessment supplement document, and we'll also look at the example. This assessment has been modified for this fall 2020 semester. Typically, ECE 120 students would be required to complete a 10-hour observation at our Deltec Child Development Center on the Wilmington campus. Unfortunately, due to the current Delaware state of emergency, this is an alternative assessment that will be completed for the fall 2020 semester. It was also completed for summer 2020. If you are new to Delaware Tech, please make sure that you connect with your program advisor, as you will need the following documentations for placements moving forward. You should have received this when you met with your initial advisement with Student Affairs counselors, but if not, just connect with your Education Department program advisor. Okay, let's look at the 2 documents specific to this assessment. The first one is your observation reflection assessment, and this is your assessment supplement. So you're going to take time to refer. Whoops. You know what, folks? I apologize. I pulled up the wrong document. Let's take 2 on this one. Okay. Here's your assessment supplement. Okay. So ECE 120 NAYC Observation Reflection Assessment Supplement. Thanks for your patience. Students enrolled in this course for the summer and fall 2020 semester will be completing the alternative assignment. And we've gone over these requirements, okay? You are going to look at the NAYC standards. There are 10 and 2 videos for each. And again, it may be helpful for time management purposes. Look at the course schedule and then see how many weeks before this first assessment standards 1 through 4 is due, and pace yourself. There may be a personal or a professional conflict. Maybe you have a wedding or another celebration going on one of those weeks, so you might have to double up with 2 standards that week to stay on pace. This is not an assessment that you can do the night before. That would be 8 videos and 8 summaries. That's a lot of work the night before an assessment is due, but everybody manages their time differently. Each standard, as reviewed previously, includes 2 different videos, and the video links are provided for you. So, viewing considerations. Consider viewing the video once without sound. This will allow you to really focus on the environment, the movement of the people that are involved, and then turn on the sound with the closed captioning. There's a ton of research that tells us that if you're viewing and you're reading the closed captioning, that you're likely to comprehend at a higher level. Okay. And there's a outside hyperlink if you want to read more about the reasons why closed captioning for education is a must in this writer's opinion. Again, we've discussed 2 to 3 sentences. Page 2 of this document includes an example, and we'll get to that in a moment. Please take time to review your document prior to submitting. You're looking for spelling and grammar, and please remember that your document should be in a Word format. Students will submit the reflection chart according to the designated date and submission site. There's a midterm and a final submission for this assessment. The first one is standards 1 through 4. The second and final submission is standards 5 through 10. So the first one has 4, the last one has 6. Okay, let's review this example. And please remember, the reason that we record these videos is so that you can stop and rewind. And if you're confused, please do not hesitate to reach out to your course instructor. We're here to support your success. All right, this is an example, and it's looking at standard 1, which is relationships. Relationship standard 1 is that programs promote positive relationships among all children and adults to encourage each child's sense of individual worth and belonging as part of a community, and to foster each child's ability to contribute as a responsible community member. Now, the reason that the latter is underlined is that that is going to be the emphasis of your videos and also your responses, right? Do not forget to identify what age group you're focusing on, okay? So in this case, you're focusing on a school age group of children, and the focus of this first example is the child's sense of self-worth. Again, you can see that's coming right from the standard itself. The video that you're viewing is the social emotional development positive relationships video, and this is part of the Virtual Lab School site. If you're not familiar with the Virtual Lab School, you will become much more familiar this semester, and as you progress into methods, you'll explore the vast resources of VLS. So you're going to view that video, and you're looking at school-age children. The focus is each child's sense of individual worth, right? And you're providing examples. So this example needs to consider children and teachers, school-age children and teachers teaching school-age children. Keep that in mind. So here's an example. It is good practice to greet children individually when they enter the classroom. This allows the child to feel recognized and promotes a one-on-one interaction with the teacher. Teachers can quickly assess the child's demeanor, for example, how the child greets them or their body language, right? So again, let's review. This isn't specific to school age. It's not blatant in the reflection that was developed here, but we know it's school age, right? It's saying that in this example, how is a child's sense of individual worth? We know that by greeting each child, we're recognizing them individually. The first part of this example touches on the child, and the second touches on the teacher. So again, we've considered the school-age child and the teacher of the school-age children, right? It will be helpful before you jump into the standards to review this. Maybe you have different ideas for your reflection response. The second example, again, is school-age children, but the focus here is belonging as part of a community and to foster each child's ability to contribute as a responsible community member. Please keep in mind, a community member can be a center or school community. It can be the physical community that the school, the center, or the child lives in. Okay? So that definition of community can expand and contract. In this case, you're watching a video from Teacher Channel, another great resource. And this video is entitled Creating a Community of Learners. And we're looking to support the development of your examples. Specifically, this example needs to consider the children and the environment or the room arrangement. Okay, the children being school age and thus the environment being a school age classroom. School age would be considered K to second because remember, we're focusing on children birth through age 8 or second grade. So here's the response that's been created for this video. The room arrangement allows the teachers to easily maneuver throughout the room to observe the children. The children are placed in an alternating leadership role, which supports their language and social emotional development. So let's check ourselves. Have we reflected upon the teacher? Yes, we have. Is it specific to the environment? Yes, the teacher can move and maneuver throughout the room easily. Does it focus on our school-age children? Yes. They're given alternate leadership roles. Okay. So, as you're watching the videos, you may want to jot down some notes, even type them into the grid that we're going to look at, but the notes are not required. You do not need to submit those. Okay, let's shut this down and let's look at the actual chart that you're going to be working on. So this is your submission number 1. And you're going to take time to review. This is going to be very familiar, relationships. Notice that that underline has continued even your actual document. You're going to review the social emotional development, positive relationships video, and you're looking to identify child factor and teacher factor, right? So you're going to write your reflection, give your examples. That's how it's titled. Give an example of each of those. Remember the age group. Remember the 2 groups that you're considering for your reflection, right? This document includes Standard 1, Standard 2, which is curriculum. This one focuses on infants to toddlers. That's birth through age 3. But notice in example 1, you're considering children and the environments. And in example 2, you're looking at children and teachers. So keep in mind, especially the age group, and then the 2 factors, people, environment, or whatever combination that is. Okay. Standard 3 is teaching. You're focusing on preschool and kindergarten, so that's age 3 through the end of 6. And your final standard for this first submission is assessment, right? You're looking specifically at K to 2, so 5 to 8 years of age. And in this case, you're going to review a monitoring progress. And this is actually a 2-part for the purpose of assessment review. Again, notice throughout you see the outlines of what you're focusing on. Take time to read, take time to take notes. Okay? What you're submitting are not your notes, but your actual reflection, which will be typed here after assessment. We hope that this was a helpful review of the various documents for this assessment and what you're submitting. Again, if you have specific questions, connect with a classmate or your course instructor, and you'll refer to your course schedule for the due dates of these 2 assessments.